Hi, it's Gadget UK here again. Just a short video here on repair and restoration of this C64C keyboard. It looks pretty much identical in the assembly there to the original 64. Notice there's a few keys, that key there's stuck down. Spring probably missing or something. I've got a spare plunger and things, a few spare plungers and things here. One of them I'll need to replace with the Commodore key because that's broken off. Might need to do that one as well. I think that key's upside down actually, this one. Restuck that on the wrong way up. It's very strange. Didn't notice that before, but anyway, it's just the same in terms of getting in here as it was with the original 64 keyboard. All these little screws here, it's Mitsumi again. You need to desolder, or well, not really desolder, but yeah, I guess pull these little bits of wire here while you heat the two pins with solder to free the caps lock key. So yeah, let's get all those screws out now. Right, so as you can see, just put the missing keys back on there now, so I corrected, I think the 0 was round the wrong way and stuff. There were a few springs missing, so I've replaced springs in four keys in total. The F1, I think the 7, had a spring missing. One or two of the numbers of the spring missing as well, so very odd. It's just the ones on the top, almost like that full top row of keys came off at some point. But as you can see, it looks pretty much identical. I think it's the same assembly as the old 64, the original 64 keyboards. So I'll just do the same thing, vac it out very lightly, make sure I don't suck any parts up. I think they should be alright, stuck onto the keys, or the keycaps I should say. So the plastic bits of these carbon pads shouldn't fly out, I don't think. But nevertheless, I'll be very careful when I vacuum that out. But you can see it does need doing. There's loads of bits of dust and particles and things in there. And then just go over them all with cotton swab. Just wipe these little carbon type pads there. Oh, sorry, not the camera. And it's the same thing with this PCB, just as per my last video, just wipe it down with some isopop. So those keycaps, they're pretty easy to get on and off. They just pop on and off the board. They're really easy to do that. Just with you can use your fingers. You don't even need anything to lever them with really. You can use a screwdriver if you wanted, but they're not that difficult to get off. And then the plastic plunger piece just comes straight out. When you're cleaning this, you don't want to rub too much here because these have got like their own little carbon pads. It's slightly different. I mentioned this is the same as the 64, the original 64, but it's not, because that's got copper little tracers there. They seem to have, maybe it's a cost saving thing because there's an awful lot of copper used on that last board, but on this one it's more of these little pads with line tracers. So you don't need to spend ages on this really, just really light, and just don't put any pressure on the pads because they just don't need it. If you get any more sort of than that coming off on there, you're pressing too hard really. You just put it wipe down with the dry side. Just as I showed on the other video, just give these a little wipe with a cotton swab, some isopop. That's all you need to do, but you've got to keep track of which ones you've done, just go over them all. That should do the job. Right, I'll reassemble this now. What I'm going to do later is take the keycaps off, all of them off, take a picture first, just helps you work out where to put them back on. I mean, it's not too bad on the C64 because there are very few sort of special keys and function keys and stuff like that, so it's hard to get them around the wrong way. But yeah, take a picture of the top side of the board before you start removing all of the keycaps. But then I'll give the top side board minus the keycaps a good clean. And retro bright all of the keys. There we go, all back together, so I'll give that a try now. Just want to show you on these cases, where you can see sometimes you get a bit of bubbling on the logo thing there, but what you need to realise is that it comes off this little transparent film, and underneath, as you can see, look at the difference, look at the colour difference there. It's protected it over the years. Stopped it from fading, but stopped it from being scratched as well. So that's pretty much like new, I reckon. There's a bit of dirt or something on there, clean that up, that should be pretty good. I don't even need to retrobrite this case, it just needs a clean up, really. I think that's when that's had some soap and water and a bit of isopop on it, it should be pretty good. So in order to get these off, you could just use a screwdriver and just sort of put them at a slight angle like that, and they just pull the cap at the same time they come off, and put your spring somewhere safe. Two reasons to do this. I mean, look how dirty this is here. This is really filthy. This is the only real way to get to these. You can use cotton buds, as I've done previously, when they're a little bit dirty, but when they're in as bad a state of this, you really want to strip it down, really, and so you can get right down to it. And then these keycaps I'm going to treat with some hydrogen peroxide, H2O2. It's sunny today, so just leave it out a few hours in the sun with some H2O2 on. Hopefully these will whiten enough to look pretty good. There you go, look how crusty that is. That's pretty bad, really is, all the way along. That was well worth doing. And got a pile of keys there, going to go treat with that H2O2 now, stick them in the sun, and a load of springs. Some of these have got some corrosion, I'll show you later, but I always treat these when I'm putting them back on. I get some WD-40 on a rag and then just sort of rotate the spring sort of through the rag really, and just coats it with WD-40, because they get corroded and eventually the springs are just gonna, they're gonna stop working, gonna break. Anyway, let's get these keys treated now. So as you can see, just got them all on the tray there. 12% hydrogen peroxide, and just pour some of this over there. It's probably way too much that I've got a massive amount of time to do this, so and we can just redistribute it, go back out. I'm going to put this out in the sun now, once I've just made sure that each one of these is covered with sufficient, and then just go check it every few hours really, and just move this stuff around with a brush just to make sure that they get more coats, if you like, and change, move the angle as well. Sometimes it's worth just changing the tray, rotate the tray by 90 degrees after half an hour, just turn it sort of 1/4 to try and distribute where the light's hitting these, because it's not going to perfectly cover every one at the right angles if you're not careful. You can find that one side of certain keys is still looking a bit bad really. I'm hoping it works relatively well. It looks like it's a good candidate, this colour of these keys. They look like they'd probably be okay, but it's the function keys I'm not sure about, because they're brown. I found that when you do these brown sort of coloured keys on Amigas, they can go a bit weird. They can look a bit strange. The grey ones actually are the worst ones, where you've got grey shift keys and things on some of the old Amigas. They got a funny colour, but the cream ones, the actual keys themselves, we go back to cream or back to beige or like, whatever colour they are really. 1200 keys didn't do too bad, but again it was the shift keys, function keys, that went a little bit odd. So hoping we don't get some sort of thing like that going on here where these go a bit weird. But I mean, let's face it, even if they go slightly sort of, odd shade of beige, anything's better than what they are now, sickly yellow. You'll find that large keys like the spacebar are the ones that are the hardest to do, typically. Just because of the surface area, and trying to get the H2O2 to stay on, and sometimes trying to get them to sit at the right angle in the sun can be half the challenge really. I might just try and just move a bit more H2O2 in that general direction there. We'll rotate that after a bit anyway, just to make sure it's got a good distribution. Try and make sure your keys are cap way up like that, so that the bit that you want to get the sun gets the sun. Not sure how successful this is going to be with this, because this batch of hydrogen peroxide I've got, whilst it says 12%, it's you put it on your fingers and I get no marks. To me that says it's probably less than 1%. I've got the feeling this is watered down. Someone's filled this with like 70% water or something, I'm sure, but we'll soon see. Right, so I've just vacuumed that off. You can see it's a lot cleaner now. I've got no all bits of fluff and dust that were loose on there, so I'm just going to use some soap and water just to clean all around those switches there. So you can see the difference there already, just where I've just done the function keys, just a bit of soap and water, just to go all around the area there. You might need to use a cotton bud to get in and out of these gaps and things a bit easier, certainly have to go over it a few times, but it will come up an awful lot cleaner. You can see it's like brown and yellow muck, probably coffee and all sorts of this shit really that's got on there over the years. So there you go, just after using a bit of kitchen roll, some soap and water, it's looking an awful lot cleaner. A better way of doing this really would have been perhaps to take every single one of these plungers out and get it in the sink and scrub it with a scrubbing brush and stuff. Would have been a bit easier, but yeah, nevertheless that's come out pretty well. But I'll just give this case a clean. Just I've done a little bit of a wipe just in this top corner here. Look at that, that's like yellow, brown. So I don't think this needs retrobrine. I think this will come up pretty well after it's been cleaned with some soap and water and a bit of isoprop. But that logo, the badge there, is looking really sweet. It's mint, there's not a mark on it. Pleased with that. So as you can see, yeah, around there's come up really well as well. That was looking really mangy. And you could just take the LED out, you just got to bend the little fitting there just to one side a bit. And then the LED will come out. But look at the colour of the LED, you can get this on camera. It's brown, can you see, all around here. So yeah, even the LED needs cleaning. There you go, that's the muck that's just come off that LED. You can see it was brown, and if you look at it now, it's nice and clear again. Got all those flecks of paint off the case there with isoprop, so that's come out pretty much mint. These vents, if I just show you, you might not be able to see this, but yeah, I've done the top 2 or 3 just with one coat there with the cotton bud squashed down. But you can, I don't know how well that's going to come out, but they're really, really, really dirty. I'll show you the cotton bud. That's one end of, that's from just doing one of those rungs there, it's black. And that was the previous one from doing 2 of the other rungs. So you need to go over them 2 or 3 times with the squashed cotton bud, really. Unless you get this in the sink and use a scrubbing brush and stuff. But there we go, case now back to its pristine state. So not a millimetre missed. Brilliant. Started to reassemble this now. Case has been cleaned inside and out. I've had this out completely. Shielding's all been wiped down. Board's been cleaned. Clean these connectors here with an eraser. Yeah, just rub both sides and you get all the oxidisation and stuff off there. That's it's come out really clean. Overall, pretty pleased with this. It's come out really well. So here's an update part way here. These keys have been treated, as you've seen, so they're initially out in the sun. Yeah, they're looking a bit dirty at the moment still, but they're considerably better. I would say, go as far to say about 60%, 70% done. Some keys are worse than others, like spacebar, still got a lot of yellow on that side. But if you look at that side, it's like it's starting to clean up quite nicely. And it's the same with many of the other keys. If you look at sort of certain angles where the retro brights worked a lot better, they're almost done there. But I did have to order some more H2O2 because got quite low. So I ended up using, I think, something like half a litre to get this far. So sometimes it does take quite a lot. You've got to be persistent. You've got to keep going over and over. But just because you've left it there for, I mean, in this case, like I say, they're out in the sun for maybe 6 or 7 hours. And then I brought them in, stuck them in a jug, filled it up with jug, stuck some TAED, Vanish in there, Oxy Action. Left it for 24 hours and it foamed out the whole jug, just like, it evaporates, After about 24 hours, you get a big pile of the stuff leaked out everywhere. And there's nothing left in the jug apart from the keys. Rinse them all off, and yeah, they're considerably better, but they're not quite there yet. So I'm going to stick these in a jug again now and fill it up with some more TAED, perhaps put it out in the sun. Hopefully that might finish it off. I might need one more coat after that. So here's sort of the final result with regards to this video. It's not perfect because, as you can see, you know, if you compare, say, that 3 key there to the keys that are nearby, you know, there's a definite difference. There's still some yellowing going on there, but it's kind of blended with the slight yellowing that's still there in the case. So, you know, other than the fact that the Commodore key and the 3 key, if you look at them closely, do stand out, the overall difference there is significant. This is, you know, I would say these probably 90% done, these keys, but you know, if I just pop one of these off, see if I can just get off. There you go, I've popped off the 2 key. I'll see if I can get a close in on this. I'm not sure how well this is going to focus. So as you can see, you've got just a slight bit of yellow in there going on up the top part here, and obviously on the keycap, the top of the keycap itself. But for the most part, you know, it's pretty much done. That's 90% better than it was. So, and that's taken just under 2 litres of H2O2. I've had to treat it, you know, 4 or 5 times. It's taken about 7 days. You know, it's been in and out of the sun. I've left it in a jug overnight, and usually, as I described earlier, that sort of results in it all foaming up, and eventually there's nothing there apart from the keys when you check in the morning. A big pile of foam all around the jug. So when you do that, be careful where you do it. Perhaps put it in the bath or somewhere like that, but you want to make sure that, you know, pets can't get to it and stuff, and toddlers. But yeah, I'm pleased with that. I really am. It would have been better if the 3 key had not been missing, the Commodore key had not been missing. That would now blend totally, because the very slight yellowing that's there, it's not so much, you know, you wouldn't look at this and go, oh my god, that's yellowed. You'd look at it and go, wow, that's in pretty good condition. You know, it does look. I need to do a bit more work on the space bar. I think I might just take that off and just put a bit on there, because you get some uneven stuff going on. There's just a bit of yellow in here, so I think I'm just going to pop that off now and just treat that on its own. But for the most part, it's looking pretty good, this. Yeah, it's probably coming out worse on camera than it actually looks to the eye. To me here, it's like I say, the keys are not a dissimilar colour to the case and stuff now. So, and it's not. It just doesn't look yellow. Just doesn't look yellow at all. It looks maybe just tiny, you know, a bit aged. Maybe doesn't look brand new like my Amiga 1200 did. But if I spent another, you know, I got another 7 or 8 quid, you know, worth of H2O2, another litre. Yeah, I could get this 100%. I might do that at some point, but right now I've got other things I want to be getting on with, and let's say I put 2 lots of used 2 litres roughly of H2O2 on this already, and it's about £6 or £7 a bottle. It's not cheap, so yeah, you know, is it worth it? I mean, it probably, yeah, it is worth it. It depends on how yellow the system is. The way it was really bad. As you'll see, I'll do a comparison before and after shots in a second, just so you can see just how much better it really is now that I've done it. But I just thought I'd share this with you anyway, just to show you what sort of results you can get. And you can't, you know, this can be perfect. You know, I do know that if I spent another 2 or 3 days on this and use another litre, you know, 2 lots of half a litre over 48 hours effectively, these keys would be pretty much pristine. You'd look at them and go, wow, that looks brand new, and you wouldn't be able to tell the difference between, you know, the 3 key and the 4 key, or any of the key on there. You know, it's just a matter of time and persistence, and, you know, cost of the H2O2. The other thing I'll point out with the H2O2, the stuff that's selling on eBay at the moment, there's a guy who's selling them, and it's I think the bottle's got like a dark blue label on the front, and it says something like 40%, 40 vol or something, you know, 12% or whatever it is. Now, I originally bought some from that same guy, I don't know, about 18 months ago, 2 years ago, when I got my Amiga 1200, and you put your fingers on that H2O2, you know, I'm telling you things you shouldn't be doing it. You're supposed to wear rubber gloves, really. You don't want to get, you know, H2O2 with your skin, you know, contact your skin. But anyway, if you do get some on your skin, you know, from experience, I found that your skin goes white. You know, it doesn't feel like it's burning, but you get it on your skin and it starts to tingle a bit. So you wash your hands, and then you check your skin, and you got white, dried skin where it's, you know, it's affected, it's burnt away your skin already, and you know, big white patches. So your finger, you know, if you dipped 4 fingers and then left them in 10 seconds, rinse them off, all the ends of your fingers would be white. And that's to be expected with a high percentage, you know, concentration of H2O2. But with this stuff, and it's exactly the same bottle, exactly the same seller. The last 4 bottles I've had from him, including the ones I used to do my Amiga 500 and stuff, I've used way more, you know, like I say, in this case, 2 litres of the stuff, whereas originally I used like half a litre to do an entire 1200 case, and it took like 48 hours and it was mint. Whereas the Amiga 500, let's say I used about 2 litres on that, and it took about a week to do the case and the keys with 2 litres. And again, it was similar to this, that I gave up just as it was like 90% done. I was like, no, I'm not wasting another litre on that. It's good enough as it is, you know. As long as it's not majorly yellow, I'm quite happy with it for my own sort of you know, collection stuff. So I think that someone somewhere, might not be the seller, but someone somewhere is watering them down. I swear to God, this stuff, because like I say, coming back to what's I know, you're putting your fingers in and getting white fingers. I've never finished the end of that story. This other stuff I've had for the last 4 or 5 bottles I've had from that seller. Again, you get it on your hands when you're brushing on stuff, and I think, oh shit, got it on my hands. You know, never mind. Keep brushing. You know, 2 minutes later, wash my hands. Not a mark on my hands. Nothing at all. It's like the H2O2's had no effect. I would actually go as far to say it's probably as low as like 1 or 2% when it's actually marked as 12%. So just be mindful of that. Don't just rush out and buy you know, a ton of it and assume that it's all as it says it is, exactly that right volume, percentage rate and stuff. Buy one from one seller, one from another, and try and get different makes of the stuff if you can, and just see how you get on with each one, because you may find that one gives a significant difference over the other, because like I say, I think there's a lot of watering down going on. It may even be that the seller is looking at the feedback of the person who's selling to, seeing what sort of things they buy, and going, oh, they're using it for retrobrighting or whatever, you know, I'll water it down, they won't know. Because I could imagine if you're using it for hairdressing and, you know, you put sort of, you're expecting 12%, you know, volume or whatever it is, you know, to put on someone's hair, and finding it doesn't bleach, you know, it takes a hell of a lot longer than it should be doing, and it's not working, you'd know straight away. But for people that are using it for cleaning and things like this, yeah, it's one of those you could look at it and go, oh, I don't know what's going on here, maybe it's this keyboard, maybe it's the plastics. I'm damn sure it's not. And it's like I say, that finger test, the skin test there proves it, because, you know, I did keep some of me, just a little bit, a few hundred millilitres in the original first few bottles, and I got one of those bottles still, and like I say, I can put my fingers in that now, you know, 20-30 seconds, rinse them off, and I've got white, you know, it's affected my skin. It started to burn and damage my skin, or however it works, but not with the like I say, the last 4 or 5 bottles I've had off eBay. So just bear that in mind, that you know, you can think, you know, if you do try this yourself and you think you're getting no success, it could be that you're getting watered down H2O2. Anyway, I thought you'd find that interesting. Thanks for watching. I'll see you soon.